Hey Facebook, it's Coach Nick Love, and in this video, I want to discuss my top dating red flags when it comes to dating. I think that in the beginning, the red flags are always there. I just think that sometimes we choose to ignore them red flags. Sometimes we might not know what those red flags are, but let's talk about it. If you experience some red flags, I'm just inviting some of my friends. If you experience some red flags, share your red flags with us. Comment, share, like, drop the hearts, all that. Alright, so one of my top red flags. When it comes to dating, if you know what you want and someone tells you that, hey Jamal, I see you just joined. So we're discussing red flags. One of my top red flags, I believe that. And when you're dating, if you know what you want and you know you want a relationship, and someone tells you that they don't know what they want, they just want to go with the flow, that's a red flag. Because if you know what you want and they don't know what you want, that means that your goals are not aligned. And you probably should let them know, hey, I might like you, or you might like the person, say I like you, but right now our goals are not aligned, so I'm going to have to catch you later. Once you find out what you want. But if they say that they don't know what they want, then definitely not the person for you if you know what you want. So another red flag, I believe, is if someone is always late, that's showing you that they do not respect your time. And you want someone that respects your time, because your time is a privilege. So you want to make sure that the person that you're dating see your time as a privilege as well, right? So if they're always late, now, 1-2 times, that's fine. But if it's a pattern and they're always late, that's a sign that that person got something deeper going on probably. But they definitely not showing you that they respect your time. So again, leave that relationship. I'm sure we all heard that saying that a lot of relationships will end how it began. And that's because in the beginning, the red flags are there, but we just choose to ignore them. So I don't believe that people actually betray us. I believe that we betray ourselves because we choose to ignore the red flags, because the red flags are always there in the beginning. So you have to make sure that you're paying attention to those red flags. And when you see them, discuss them, become very curious about them, let them know that you see the red flags and you want to talk about it. So definitely remember, people don't betray us, we betray ourselves when we ignore those red flags. So you got to pay attention to the red flags. If you got some red flags that you know about or that you see in the beginning and that you chose to ignore, leave a comment. Let me know what are some red flags that's a no-no for you. It's all about us and what our barometer says, but so what are your red flags? Let's see. Some people ignore them thinking they can change a person. Correct. So a lot of people think, and that's a good thanks for that comment, Jeffrey. A lot of people think that we can fix somebody or change somebody, and we want to play therapist, but we can't change anybody. A person can't change unless they want to change. And your love is not good enough to change that person. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not about your love and how you're going to love them. It's about how they feel about themselves and if they're ready to change. So if they showing you who they are and you think that you can fix them, you're setting yourself up. And again, people don't betray us. We betray ourselves because we ignore the red flags, and sometimes we think we can change that person. But in reality, we cannot change that person. That person got to be ready to change on their own. So drop them hearts if y'all are familiar. If y'all also ignored the red flags in the beginning. I think we all been there before, thinking that we can change somebody, but we can't change someone. And for me, I always tell my clients that when you see crazy coming, cross the street. Cross the street. Because again, I don't believe in surprises. I believe that those red flags are always there. So pay attention to those red flags. What are some of your red flags? Comment. So also, if a person tell you that their friends tell them that they're mean, or they tell you that all my friends say I'm single because I'm mean or I'm a bad person, you better listen, because their friends know them. And if their friends are saying that they mean, they're probably a mean person. So that you need to investigate, like, what do your friends mean when they say you're mean? There's something to that. So pay attention. honestly, if someone told me that their friends said they were mean and they believed that they were mean as well, I probably would be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna exit this date right now because you must be a mean person, and I don't want to see the other side of you. And if someone is telling you that early on, people are supposed to bring their best representative in the beginning. So if that's their best, you know what? I don't even want to see the rest. Also, if someone is constantly posting pictures of themselves on social media, that is a red flag. That's showing you that this person needs validation. However, let me correct that. If they're constantly posting pictures on social media and they're not like a public figure, if they're not promoting something or selling something, then that's a red flag. So if they just posting just to get likes, that's showing you that that person need outside validation. And once they get with you, they still not going to be satisfied, and they still going to be posting, and they're going to need that outside validation outside of themselves and outside of that relationship. So that's a red flag. And if you get with someone and you know I don't want to say, they chasing after this validation on social media, and you think it's going to change, it's not. Again, pay attention to those red flags. People don't betray us. We betray ourselves when we ignore those red flags. And searching for that outside validation is a red flag that there's something going on with that individual. So if they're constantly posting and they need that outside validation, or it could be a sign that you're dealing with a narcissistic person. It's all about them. So that's a red flag. So pay attention to that. Those social media models and all that stuff, when you know they ain't really a model, a red flag, pay attention. One of my red flags I like to pay attention to too. I like this question on a first date. I think that I like to ask someone, how was your day? Now, how they answer it, it can show you a lot about that person. If they say, oh, I had a bad day, that's showing you that that's a negative person. Like, we all have bad days, but again, on the first date, you want to put your best foot forward and you want to show your best side of you. So you wouldn't be talking about, oh, I had a bad day, my boss did this, my coworkers did that. It's all about being positive, especially early on. Like, again, we all have bad days, but you don't want to show that so early on a date. That's showing you that that's a negative person. And I can more often than not, once you get in that relationship, that's something you're gonna be hearing a lot of, them complaining about their work and everything else. So comment some of y'all red flags. I want to know some of y'all red flags. Do you agree about the social media posting? What you think? Do you have y'all ever experienced that when someone is constantly posting on social media, and then once y'all start dating seriously, they still constantly posting on social media looking for that validation? I got a question. CT, do you believe that when in a relationship you go and don't pay attention to those red flags, the universe will put back the same situation? So I think you're saying that once you get in a relationship, if you don't learn from that lesson, that the next person is going to still be that same, probably show up with those same red flags. I do believe that, CT. You know what? A lot of my clients come to me and they have been in abusive relationships. And I tell them, like, I ask them, have you done a work on yourself? Because if you haven't done any work on yourself, you're going to attract the same person. So in the past, if you kept attracting an abusive partner, you're going to keep attracting an abusive partner until you do the work on yourself. So with those abusive partners, and usually their answer is like, no, I haven't done any work on myself. I haven't been in therapy or anything like that. And I'm like, well, tell me a little bit about the guy you're dating. And once they start telling me about the person that they're dating, it's signs of abuse there. And a lot of people think domestic violence is always when it's physical. No, domestic violence is psychological, emotional, verbal. They like to lower your self-esteem and make you feel like they're the only ones that's going to want you. And another sign is they like to isolate you from your friends. So if it's signs of that controlling behavior, be aware, because if they're showing you that controlling side, you probably should run. I take abuse real serious. I worked with domestic violence perpetrators in the past, so I can spot that early on, and I'm usually good with helping my clients spot that. We have another question. Christian, what do you think about this? Honestly, I try not to exchange social media info until I'm totally sure. I think it's fine to, not become friends with someone you're dating early on. You want to get to know the person. However, I mean, it just depends on you. Everyone have their own barometer when it comes to dating and their red flags. I think that Looking at someone's social media, it tell you a lot about that person. So if your profile is public, I probably will search you because I want to see what you're posting, because that's going to let me know more about you that you might not share with me. So if you're always posting negative comments or something like that, that's a red flag, and I probably would not date you, because if it's showing up on your social media, it's going to show up in your life as well, because that's the type of person you are. And I'm all about positivity, so when it comes to negative people, I don't want to be involved. So if they posting a lot of negative comments on their social media, that's an issue for me. So I would ask them about it. But yeah, that's probably a red flag. But I think you can check out someone's social media. Maybe you don't have to become their friend on social media right away, and you can pace yourself. But it's all up to you. What do you think about it, and what do your partner think about it? Now, if you don't feel comfortable with doing that, share that to your partner and let them know, I don't feel comfortable with becoming friends with someone I'm dating so early on, and see how they respond to it. Don't let them try to force you to do it. Again, you don't want that controlling behavior in there. Any other questions, comments? Let me know. Also, another red flag is if someone is trying to move way too fast. Too fast, too furious usually flames out. So if someone is trying to rush into a relationship, ask them, what is the rush? Let's take time to get to know each other. I like to tell my clients, pace yourself, because one thing about pacing yourself is that crazy can't hide in a closet longer than 10 minutes. So eventually they'll show you who they are, because sometimes people will show you, their representative will show up. And when their representative show up, they only can keep that up but for so long. So pace yourself and the real person will eventually show up. We have another question. What do you feel about dating someone for 10 months and say that they want a future with you but won't post pics of you, doesn't want you commenting on their post? Wow. Well, the first part is, how often are they normally posting on Facebook? If they post often pictures of themselves and their friends, and y'all been dating for 10 months, that's a conversation you should have with that person. And become curious about it. Like, hey, you post your best friends, your family, why don't you post me? Especially if we are exclusive, you should be fine with posting me. And you commenting in there on their posts. I mean, why can't you comment on their posts? That's again, that sounds controlling to me. You're not going to control me and tell me what I can comment on. So if they posting every day, CT, yeah, that sounds like a red flag to me. Because why aren't they posting you? Are y'all public with your relationship? If this is someone who is always on social media, are they, where it say relationship, does it say I'm in a relationship with CT? That's something you should investigate. Sit down and have an honest conversation with your partner if that's your situation, or if it's your friend's situation. Drop those hearts, y'all, and make sure y'all like my like pages, Coach Nick Love on Facebook and Instagram. Follow me, like, share, and yeah, every day I'm posting some good words of advice, some good tips for dating. All right, David Clark. What if they're posting positive things, but then you find out they're exerting a lot of negative energy? So I like to go off of energy. So even if someone is posting a lot of positive things on their social media, your energy, trust your gut. If your gut is telling you something about this person, trust your gut. If you don't trust your gut, you're saying, I don't trust myself and I don't trust the gift that God gave me. Your gut feeling is a gift from God. We all have that intuition. So if your gut is telling you something, become curious about it, investigate, have those honest conversations. Sometimes those uncomfortable conversations, we have to become comfortable with having those uncomfortable conversations. So investigate, David. Ask them, what's going on with this energy? I'm sorry. Let's see. David, I guess that is not a question, but more of a statement. Well, I handled it as a question. I hope that my response helped you. Yeah, trust your energy. I'm good. I go heavy on energy. So whatever someone is showing you and your energy is telling you something, you got to trust those butterflies. Sometimes those butterflies that we get are not butterflies because it's excitement, like, oh, yes, this new person or something. Sometimes those butterflies are also a sign like, oh, this might not be the person I should be with. So trust your gut and investigate. And again, crazy can't hide in the closet longer than 10 minutes. So eventually the real person will show up. So pace yourself. See what they're showing you. All right. CT, yes. All right. I recently went through something horrible. One thing I noticed that he would do is sit in the dark and talk to himself. Serious red flag, but he said he always do that. Sit in the dark and talk to himself about what? So that would, for me, as someone who worked in treatment foster care for many years, that would be a sign of maybe, I'm not a therapist yet, but that would be a sign of maybe depression or something. I see one of my social worker friends on here. What do you think, Brittany? If you're still on here, what do you think about that? If someone is sitting in the dark talking to themselves, that sounds like that could be a sign of depression or something. Like again, I'm not a therapist. I don't, so I can't really comment on that much on that. But that would be a red flag for me, and I would ask them like, "What's up with that?" I mean, some people might relax that way. Some people are loners. Some people like to decompress after work by themselves. But I don't know. I would just investigate again. There's nothing wrong with asking the questions that you want to know. If someone is telling you something, ask those questions. Ask those questions. We had another question from CT. We have had conversations, but I always get the response that he has nothing to say because he doesn't feel it's important to him when it's important to me. Red flag. If you're dating someone and they don't feel like something that you want to talk about is important to them, that's an issue because it's important to you. Your feelings are very much as important as their feelings. It's a relationship. You're in the relationship. They're in a relationship. So they should be able to definitely be able to listen to you and have that conversation and give you feedback. They shouldn't be telling you, blowing you off or anything like that. That's a red flag. Why is it not important to you if it's important to me? So yeah, CT, you should check into that. I also work with couples as well. So you can hit me up on Coach Nick Love and we can discuss some things. I might can offer you a session, you and your partner, and see if I can help you out with effective communication. But that's a red flag if someone is blowing you off and being dismissive of your feelings. That's a huge red flag to me. So, yeah. Yeah. You want to investigate with that. How long have y'all been together? You say 10 months, I think? What do y'all think? Any more red flags that y'all noticed in the beginning that sometimes you choose to ignore, you think it's going to get better? Again, the way a relationship the way a relationship ends is usually how it began, and we just, chose to ignore those red flags, and that's really important. Don't ignore those red flags. Yes. So, also another red flag for me is if a person is in transition, like if they recently got divorced or they recently got out of a long-term relationship, that person is probably not emotionally available right now. So that's something to pay attention to. I recommend to my clients that if you're dating someone and they just got divorced, the divorce was just stamped final, or they just got out of a long-term relationship, that person needs time to heal, and you're probably the rebound person. And once they actually heal from that past relationship, you're probably not going to be the person that they want. And I know that might sound a little harsh, but they using you because they probably was used to being in a relationship, and they just need that dependent. They like codependent on people or their partner, and they don't want to be alone. So pay attention to that. So transition, like if they going through drug rehabilitation or anything like that, any type of transition, like major life transition, that's something to pay attention to, because you don't want to get involved, and then that person end up, saying, hey, I need to work on myself, because that's probably coming. Another one to pay attention to is if someone always plays the victim. And what I mean by that, if everything was their ex fault or their ex fault, all my exes are crazy. If they saying all my exes are crazy, well, what part did you play in that? I mean, you was involved with all these exes, so you picked all these crazy people. That says something about your judgment, right? And how you look at yourself. Because I think people come into our life and it's like a mirror about something that we need to see about ourselves. So that's something to pay attention to. And usually when someone is always playing a victim, they are probably the cause of all of that drama. They're probably the cause of it. And they always talking about someone did this to me, he did that, my boss did that, it's her fault. It's probably your fault. You're probably causing all the drama. So pay attention to that. Playing the victim is a red flag. So let's see. CT said, that's true because I met him 3 months after he left his ex, and I was Lurie then. How long were they together? And do you feel like he's over his ex? That's a question. That's a good question for yourself. Like, do you feel like he's over his ex? How long were they together? Is he a relationship hopper? Some people are relationship hoppers, and usually when they're relationship hoppers, they really don't know what they want, and they don't know how to be alone. You have to know how to you have to learn how to enjoy your own company, so someone else, before anyone else can enjoy your company. So that's something to look at, CT. It sounds like y'all got some things going on in that your relationship. Oh, 6 years. Wow, that's a long time. And all these issues been at the beginning. That's something to pay attention to. And sometimes, after someone been together a while, sometimes we need to, find that spark again. And they call it the 3-year itch, the 5-year itch, or the 7-year itch. So sometimes we just need a turn up in our relationship, and we need to get to know each other and find that spark. Find out what's your love language. That's something that I have my clients do. It's a assessment on their love language, so they can learn how to tell their partner how to communicate with them, and also just know how to meet their own needs. All right, Cody, I have a question. For me, too many relationship goals, and 6 months need to be here, and a year there, etc. Oh, can you explain that a little bit more, Cody? I'm not understanding it. But yeah, make sure y'all like my page, Coach Nick Love. It's Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and on all other social media platforms. Check me out. Share, page. Drop those hearts, y'all, and drop y'all comments. Let me know about some of y'all red flags. I know we've all have life experiences, and we all dealt with so many red flags, and we choose to ignore them. But I want to know some of y'all's, and yeah, I'm gonna try to reach this again, Cody, and see if I understand it. For me, too many relationships. Yeah. Explain that a little bit more, Cody, for me, before I can comment. I'm not understanding that one. Yeah. So also a red flag for me is how's their relationship with their mother or their family. I know that sometimes things go on, and you're not good with your family, but it depends on how they respond to it. So if they sound like, oh, me and my mother, we're not speaking right now, but I love her, that's probably fine. But if they like, my mother is a this, she's a that, it sounds like they're still angry and they need some things to heal before they can be in a relationship with you. Because usually how someone treats their mother is how they'll treat you. So that's a red flag. If someone doesn't have a good relationship with their mother, become curious and investigate on that. Ask more questions. Okay, so Cody said, want to be living together in 6 months. In a year, have a house. Wow. I think that's pretty soon to live together with someone in 6 months. I think that's a case by case, depending on when me and my clients have that conversation. It's case by case, but also depending on your financial status right now. How is that going to look like if you were to move in with someone in a year or 6 months? If you break up, is your credit good so you can still go back living on your own and be independent? So it really just depends on the person and their financial status and stuff like that. So let's see. Cody, another question. And thanks for the questions, y'all. Drop those hearts, share, like, and comment, please. The relationship is pre-charted regardless of the person in the picture. Too much empire building. Yeah, if somebody want to build like a house and y'all, they already talking about moving in a house with you after 6 months, that's a red flag. We need the time to get to know each other. The first couple months is the honeymoon stage, but after the honeymoon stage, then you get to see the real person. So yeah, 6 months is too soon for me. I wouldn't recommend moving in with someone 6 months, probably not even a year. Yeah, so I would say no to that, Cody. No. So let's see what else. Any more questions, comments? Let me know. Drop those hearts. Let's see. Thanks for the questions, Jamal, Christian, Cody, CT. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I get through all y'all questions before I exit this live. Let's see. So yeah, make sure y'all follow me, Coach Nick Love, Facebook, Instagram. Share with your friends. Like, comment. Drop those hearts. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know if you agree or you disagree. We have another question from CT. What do you think about being with someone When they awake, they want to be close to you, and then they are asleep. They fight you and cry and scream in their sleep because of they want to fight you in their sleep. I'm sorry I laugh. I'm just saying, like, yeah. Let me read this again to try to understand it. What do you think about being with someone? When they are awake, they want to be close to you, and when they are asleep, they fight you and cry and scream in their sleep but they fight and scream in their sleep because what feel bad? Like you feel bad or they feel bad? Oh, they fighting you in their sleep. That's scary. And screaming at you. Oh, I would recommend them to see a doctor. See what's up with that. You know, some people might, you know, sleep talk and all of that or whatever, but I mean, I don't know. That could be like a trauma that they not healed from that they expressing through their sleep. I would investigate with that. Um, you know what, CT, I appreciate you participating in this live. You know what? I will give you a complimentary 15-minute session with me. Hit me up on Coach Nick Love on Facebook, and we can work something out. I'll give you a complimentary 15-minute session because I would like to know more about your situation and see if I can be of any assistance. But that would scare me if someone want to fight me in their sleep and they screaming at me and stuff like that. I wouldn't even feel comfortable going. Okay, I wouldn't even feel comfortable going to sleep next to them. But when you posted sexual abuse, so I'm guessing that this person experienced sexual abuse in the past. Okay, that still sounds like something that they need to heal. So it might be something that they need to work through with a therapist. That's yeah, that's something they need to work through with a therapist. That sounds like PTSD, and they still experiencing that. And if they experienced that as a child, that's a lot of years that they probably haven't worked through that. So I would say you know, seek professional treatment. But as far as like having effective communication, still hit me up. I still will offer you that 15-minute complimentary session. I appreciate your participation. I appreciate all of you who watch. Please comment, like, share, and let me know some other topics that y'all might want me to come on and discuss. You know, I'll be back next Sunday. And I want to talk about some do's next Sunday, some do's and some don'ts on when it comes to dating. Today was all about red flags, and I thank you guys for participating and tuning in. Until next week, check me out, Coach Nick Love, on Facebook and Instagram. I post daily some good tips that you can follow and live by, you know, so you could date healthy. When it comes to dating, I want you to date healthy and I'll have success at dating. So yeah, follow me. Until next time, Coach Nick Love. Hashtag X Coach Nick Love. Bye. Thank you.